I'd like to welcome you back for another video from the Trail of the Green Man. We're going to talk about William Alexander, a very influential man, especially in the creation of the Knights Baronet in Nova Scotia, and Block C user, a very important Block C. We are going to be looking at his The Monarchy Tragedies. It's a collection of plays, and we are going to be concentrating on the Alexandrian tragedy. And I can see here we have the Block C here in front of us, and we will be looking at this Block C a lot, and it is a very important block. We will not be getting into the reasons why right here, right now, but you will be able to find this information at the Green Man Gallery under Block C, and along the lines of the damage and print marks. But we are going to take a look at this for another reason. Now, this is printed in 1607, and what I'm going to show you here is two versions of the same book, both printed in 1607, yet there is a difference. Now, I can't find anywhere, especially in like the catalogue or anything that explains if there was two different versions of this book printed in the same year. There was a reprint of this book many times, and that is an interesting point for yet again another story which you will find in the Green Man Gallery. But if you just take a look, you can see a difference here. In one page the finish is down to here, and in this page the finish is down to here. These are not the same pages. The book is slightly different. This part that you see here on the left is not what you see here on the right. Additional things have been added which gives us what would be interpreted as not exactly an error, but something of interest for us, and this is where we are going to concentrate our eyes on to see what perhaps William Alexander is trying to say. So we are going to take a closer look at this page that is adjacent to the Green Man and see if there's just something that kind of comes out from the page to help us extract some kind of information. What I'm going to do, I'm going to start at the bottom of the page and lay something out in front of you. Now, where I'm going to start is, and it's important to note that where I start here is maybe not how the page unfolded for me at the time, but in order to tell the story, the order of things has been put into something there. We can build a construction. Now, if we look here, I've highlighted something in blue for us, and what this says is where A. Very innocent, but this is going to help us make a construction. So we have where A, and as you can see I've highlighted in blue A, A, A. And it's saying where A. And as we come down, it actually hits this comes. Now, if this E was possibly an error, and what we were actually to do was take it as not where A, but here A, as in this A has to move. And if we can see here, we have here A, and if we come down, if this A was to be placed here, it would be commas, the punctuation mark, comma. Now, this seems maybe, again, quite loose and I suppose wishful thinking, but if we just take these as instructions and see what we come across. Now, what we see here is a nice alignment of some commas marked in red for us. If I put a little line across here, comma, 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 comma. Again, this could just be random, but let's push ahead and we'll see if we can make some sense of this. Now what we notice is it crosses over, or we get flower crossed. Now this could be interpreted as a flower being a rose and the crossed being the cross. Again, it's simple interpretation at this stage, but it's just helpful to allow us to carry on that there's a possibility that we might be on the right track. Now what we see is, if we continue on this chain of thought, you can see here another comma, 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 comma. If I put a line through the commas, 1, 2, 3, 4, 4 commas, what we actually find is we get a 90-degree angle here. A very specific, accurate 90-degree angle between them. Now, the 3, 4, 5 triangle, the 37, 53 and 90 is something that we are going to use quite a lot to develop an extraction process, whether we use a heptagon for this or this 3, 4, 5 triangle. They're both equally important. So I've highlighted these in green. Now what I'll do is, I'll just join these lines together. We find that we do land on the word fame. And if we come down, it's pointing towards confess. Now, the fame and the confession of the Rosy Cross are the two manifestos that you will find discussed on our webpage. This gives us a background. This gives us an idea that we could be on the right track. He's linked to the flowered cross. We've got confess. And we have fame at the top. And this all began with here, A, to move this A to form the word commas. And we have created this structure using the commas. Very interesting to begin with. Now, the order in which we go about this information here could be somewhat confusing, so we will discuss it a little bit. Now, in the middle here, we have reap. Then below it, we have hint. Reap, hint. What kind of hint are they possibly talking about? What hint can we extract from here? And just to the left of it, we see reason harbours. So we're thinking reap a hint, and what would the reason be to have a harbour? Now, if we just look above here, we go through the only capital letter that's on the page, that, well, not from the start of the sentence or not part of a name, and we find ourselves having an error. It says, no poison comes in cups of tea. Now that should be tea. No poison comes in cups of tea. But we seem to have this extra R here, a blatant error. And above it we have suspicious eye. As in, we're looking at this error here. Now, in a cups of tea, there is a famous saying, I think it was Cato who actually put it into words from an earlier translation about a storm in a teacup. A very old interpretation and a common phrase used even today, a storm in a teacup. And when you begin to think about that with a reason for a harbour, if we take a look at the top, it gives us The Tempest. Now, The Tempest is a rather famous Shakespearean play that was first printed in the Shakespeare First Folio. Very interesting that it is given us this piece of information. Now, the reason why this is quite important is because The Tempest in the First Folio was not printed until the 1620s. This book is printed in 1607. So we are talking an amount of years before The Tempest as a play was even printed for the first time. That's very interesting, but we're going to forge ahead and see what else we can extract from here. Now, if we look above this, we actually have the word H-O-G, hog. Now, hog is something that we are going to discuss on other videos and is a very important piece of the puzzle. But for now, hog is something that is associated with Francis Bacon. Hog is especially important, especially in The Tempest. But we'll push ahead, and we also can see it begins with mingled A. Now, this mingled A is again reference to where we started here. Where A, here A, as in it's mingling. We have to move this A. This is giving us a correspondence between the top and the bottom, that they are all connected, that we have correctly followed the trail to this point. Now, but what other hints could there be? If we look, it says here, reap hint, has caught age. Now, from caught, from birth to the date of this being published, William Alexander would be age 32. So from his caught, his age at the time of this printing would be 32. There is more on this page. There is so much more, but what I'm going to do is travel to page 32 and we'll take a quick look. We could also go to the very first page in The Tempest and reveal why hog is very important, but perhaps you may like to do that yourself. So when we come to page 32, it's very interesting. It's Act 3, Scene 2. 32 on page 32. The first thing I notice is my age. This could just be a coincidence, but we're going to take a little bit of a closer look. We see this acrostic of the word tibi, which is in the Latin, and this comes out also in Daniel Mogling's publication. Again, Daniel Mogling, he has a place in the bio on the Green Man website. Lots of work there. Please feel free to go and have a look. So we have tibi, T-I-B-I, but we also have a T at the bottom, meaning that we could make the word T-I-B-I from the opposite side also. Tibi from one direction and tibi to the other. Tibi meaning to you. And we have to you two ways. From the top and the bottom we can make the same. Now if we take a look here at the tibi, it says commanded under. Just like an instruction. Now if we look under, we get the word upon, meaning atop of, or being on top of something. So when we've been commanded under, we look under, and then we get the word being upon, meaning on top of. Now if we look below here, we then have H-O-G, hog. I'll just zoom in for us here so we can get a closer look. So, to you, commanded under, then we're told we're above it, and we look below it and we see H-O-G. And to the right here, it's abridged. As you can see, we are abridging something, we are crossing over something to make this. And it's rashly falls, of course, a rasher of bacon. Hog, it's falling, it's coming to the bottom. It's just another one of these beautiful little jokes. Now, but what is it abridging? It's abridging something, and it's the word Neville. Now, Neville is somebody that, again, we do have his work in the bio. Please feel free to have a little look. We will see more about Henry Neville, but let's take a closer look. underneath Rashleigh falls, as in falling from this point, we see hen, ray. But it's also saying count. And to join the hen and the ray together, we get 10. Count 10. Hen, ray. It's also a net, but it's hen, ray, count 10, and it's saying time. It's a number. It's telling us that this 10 is an actual number. And what this 10 is basically doing is connecting the HEN to the REY for Henry. Henry Neville, the Tempest. Now, we are not here to say who wrote this play or who wrote that play. Through this website, you're going to realise that apart from perhaps one in particular, which we will talk about, the sonnets, again, that will be on the website. Please feel free to go and have a look. Very interesting stuff there. And in the sonnets, there is a same method to be applied as we're going to apply here, but not in this video. So everything is about falling and coming down. If we take a little look at the bottom, we see something interesting. Just like the top, we have way, and then we have you. So just at the top, we have TB, which is to you, but we have it two ways to you. And when we come down to the bottom, we have the same type of arrangement, and we have two ways to you. Same thing, just a different way of putting it. Very interesting. And here we see the DATE for the date, again, just like we had at the top. But if you would like to find out any more information about what exactly William Alexander is trying to say, please come along and join us at the Trail of the Green Man on the Discord. Lend us your help, lend us your skills, whether it's just you want to donate your time, you want to donate some of your skills. We are looking for all the help we can get. This is so large that it is just impossible for me myself to do this. So please come along, donate your time. It would be greatly appreciated. Also, if you feel as though you cannot donate your time but you really enjoy this, you can make a small donation at the website to help me keep the lights on, and especially other things. There is more codes in these books that are very difficult to extract unless more than one copy of the same book in a high quality can be obtained. This can be expensive. There is a lot of information here. I hope you can find out what he is trying to say and come along and share it with me, share it with the rest of the group. Come on live, do a live stream. We'll be happy to share this information and get to the bottom of this, because one man alone cannot do it. We are looking at one person's life story in a sea of many men's life story, and it's just impossible for one person to get this done. Again, thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed.